Caroline, this morning President Trump accused 6 Democratic lawmakers of seditious behavior punishable by death. Just to be clear, does the president want to execute members of Congress?
No.
So despite what the president himself has posted on the internet for posterity, his mouthpiece, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, insists that that is not what he meant. And I've said it before, I'll say it again, it is a huge problem when the words of the most powerful man in the world need to be retroactively filtered and deciphered, clarified, and explained into oblivion. The words of the president of the United States matter. They influence geopolitics. They swing and shape the stock market and the economy as much as the economy is still dependent on the stock market. They set the tone of the nation and they represent the nation's value system. The words that the President of the United States say and type should not be subject to interpretation. He said what he said. So what he posted on Truth Social was seditious behavior punishable by death. Also, the president went on to share and repost a series of comments from other Truth Social users, including posts that said the Democrats should be hanged, their actions were an insurrection, and they should all be indicted because of the video. So here's why he posted that. This is what he called seditious behavior that was, in his very weighty presidential opinion, punishable by death.
I'm Senator Alyssa Slotkin.
Senator Mark Kelly.
Representative Chris Deluzio.
Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander.
Representative Chrissy Houlihan.
Congressman Jason Crow.
I was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy.
Former paratrooper and Army Ranger.
Former intelligence officer.
Former Air Force.
We want to speak directly to members of the military
And the intelligence community.
Who take risks each day
To keep Americans safe.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now.
Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk.
This administration is pitting our uniformed military
And intelligence community professionals
against American citizens.
like us. You all swore an oath.
To protect and defend this Constitution.
And right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad.
But from right here at home.
Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law.
Or our Constitution.
We know this is hard.
And that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
In the Army.
Our Navy.
The Air Force.
Your vigilance is critical.
and know that we have your back.
Because now, more than ever,
The American people need you.
We need you to stand up for our laws.
Our Constitution.
And who we are as Americans. Don't give up.
Don't give up.
don't give up.
Don't give up the ship.
Again, Trump isn't just some guy anymore. He hasn't been just some guy for a very long time. He's not some idiot in a basement posting on Twitter. He's an idiot president whose underground bunker isn't quite ready yet, posting on his own social media platform. It's two very different things. The Democratic Congress people in that clip were telling members of our military that they should not follow illegal orders handed down to them from the president. The emphasis and the whole point of that video was on the word illegal. Granted, most members of the military, as I understand it, understand that. They took an oath to our Constitution and to our country, not to any president or administration or party. Some people in more elevated positions within our military don't even vote so that they can keep an added degree of separation between themselves and their military duties and partisan politics. But given the current circumstances, it's maybe not the worst thing in the world to reiterate to people that the military is under no obligation to follow illegal orders. Trump being mad that he cannot issue illegal orders to members of the military is itself stupid, but then to call for the death penalty, so emotional. Can you imagine if he was a woman? Speaking of, let's hear from a woman, Caroline Leavitt, and let's see how she tries to explain away this latest, I don't want to call it a gaffe, this latest very intentional thing that our president has said.
Let's be clear about what the president is responding to, because many in this room want to talk about the president's response, but not what brought the president to responding in this way. You have sitting members of the United States Congress who conspired together to orchestrate a video message to members of the United States military, to active duty service members, to members of the national security apparatus, encouraging them to defy the president's lawful orders.
Again, she said that the Congress people in the video were encouraging members of the military to defy the president's lawful orders, but she is deliberately missing the point. They said illegal several times throughout the video. The word illegal was written on the screen. Illegal is the opposite of lawful, and I have to assume that Caroline Leavitt knows that. She said just a whole bunch of nothing there. I personally love that she gets paid so much money to do that, and I even love more that she is paid in our tax dollars. But this issue came up on Fox News between host Martha McCallum and Democratic Representative and veteran Jason Crow.
And people wanting to join the military under the president.
Here's an interesting fact for you, Martha. Our men and women actually are very smart, very incredible men and women in our military. And
you don't have to tell me that.
Well, apparently I do.
No, you don't, sir. I have great respect for the United States military.
Well, you don't think they can handle a reminder about federal law and the UCMJ, is what I'm hearing. And a recent survey showed that 8 out of 10 service members deeply understand their obligation of lawful orders, right? 8 out of 10. So we want to get that. That should be 10 out of 10. But this is something that they're trained on. Go and look at the training. Maybe even go and participate or observe some of the training that our men and women go through. It is incredible. We expect a lot of these men and women. They go through very intense, rigorous training because they're put in intense, rigorous positions. And frankly, I bristle at the notion that they can't handle a suggestion or a reminder of what the law requires them to do and what the Constitution requires them to do. You actually disparage them when you say that a simple reminder is something they cannot handle.
You're wrong. You're 100% wrong. I didn't disparage them in any way. In fact, I give them enormous credit.
You don't think they can handle reminders about their legal obligations?
I think
these men and women certainly can handle it.
If it was specific and they could figure out what order you're referring to, I have the most deep respect for everyone who serves in the military, including you, sir, for the sacrifice that you made. I did not make that sacrifice myself. So I put everyone who makes that sacrifice in a very special place in my heart. And I believe they're there to serve the country. So you have put out this video. It's getting a lot of attention. I thank you for joining me to talk about it. And I think, people can look at it and take away from it what they want.
In the days since, Crow has responded to Trump's threat, saying that he is not going to be intimidated. Others have also spoken out against the president's words, including the Democratic senator from California, Alex Padilla. Padilla responded to Trump's post saying on X, "Donald Trump is openly calling for the murder of lawmakers. Where is the condemnation from Republicans in Congress? Where is the outrage from members of this administration? This threat of political assassination isn't coming from the fringe, it's coming from the leader of their party. Their silence is complicity." Well, to be fair, a few GOP senators have spoken out against the president for his posts. Not very many, but a few. Senator Rand Paul, for one, said that kind of rhetoric isn't good, and it stirs up people among us who may not be stable, who may think, well, traitors, what do we do with traitors? It's the death penalty. Maybe I'll just take matters into my own hands, which is not something we should be encouraging. He's worried about unstable people hearing these comments and taking matters into their own hands, misinterpreting them, whatever. But the comments came from a very unstable person, someone who the Republicans like Rand Paul, like his colleagues, have all sworn fealty to. Also, his words were not quite as forceful as I would have liked, but he said something while most of his colleagues did not. It is a very low bar for sure. But similarly, Tom Tillis of North Carolina called Trump's threats, quote, a little strong. And I'm not going to celebrate that as a condemnation, but in the interest of just giving you all the story, he did say that. So good. He did say more, though. Words carry a lot of weight, said Tillis, who is not running for re-election next year. Kids are watching, and the president of the United States should always be thinking less about the adults are reacting to probably what was objectionable behavior by the Democrats, and the kids that are watching too. We really should all be thinking about the children, always about the children. Also, the Democrats probably said some bad things, so whatever. Lindsey Graham, who can never seem to decide what side he is on anything, said Trump's posts were, quote, over the top, but he also did not like the Democrats' videos. So thank you. He could have just said nothing. But here is what House Speaker Mike Johnson had to say on the matter.
The president posted that Democrats who urge service members to not follow illegal orders should be punished, it should be seditious, conspiracy, and punishable by death. Do you have any response to that?
Look, I know the DOJ and the Pentagon are looking into the legality of all that, but what I can address is what everybody knows. That was wildly inappropriate. It is very dangerous. You have leading members of Congress telling troops to disobey orders. I think that's unprecedented in American history. And as the father of a young man who is, at the Naval Academy, going to be joining the service, I know young soldiers, airmen, sailors, they don't need that kind of nonsense from people in Congress. It is very dangerous. I'm going to let others define what it is, but it's wildly inappropriate.
Anyway, Republicans are having a very hard time these days keeping up with the things that keep flying out of Trump's mouth. The other day, he called a female reporter Piggy, telling her, "Quiet, Piggy." That is a whole other story, though, particularly with the spin they're trying to put on what he said, how he said it, to whom he said it. In any relationship, though, you expect it to be work, but at some point you have to wonder, for the sake of your own sanity and everyone else's involved, should it have to be this much work? Should the Republicans wake up every morning worried about what fresh hell the president posted or said? And let's be clear, they're not worried for the same reasons that the rest of us are. We're worried because this completely deranged and unstable man has so much power over us and our government. They are worried because they're going to have to figure out a way to defend the indefensible again. But you can't feel too badly for them. They chose this life and they chose to stand by their man. They make that choice every day, every time that they make another excuse for the very, very bad things that he is saying and doing. They chose a bad man and they're sticking with him. All right, so that's it for me. If you got anything out of this, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks.